Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you today. Basically, there was a huge backlash on the internet yesterday. Twitter was blowing up at the story that Dave Meltzer broke on the Wrestling Observer podcast when talking about the Kurt Angle return to WWE. Basically, Kurt Angle was trying to negotiate his way back into WWE, making his return, coming over from TNA, and Triple H offered him basically what would be a full-time contract where he would wrestle on house shows, Monday Night Raws, SmackDowns, pay-per-views, so on and so forth. Whenever needed, Kurt Angle's name would be called and he would be wrestling on the show. Kurt Angle turned that deal down, basically thinking that already with the ACL injury that he's trying to come back from in January, he needs a short-term contract, basically, where maybe even like The Rock, he would only wrestle on pay-per-views. He would be featured on Monday Night Raw. Maybe they can stick him in some sort of a slot where he has promos leading up to the match where like you almost have to pay for the WWE Network or buy the pay-per-view in order to see him wrestle. That was not what Triple H and WWE was looking for, so basically you can say almost all contract negotiations have broken off, and it looks like TNA is going to be re-signing Kurt Angle to serve for what has been said is the last year of Kurt Angle's career. He's going to sign this one-year contract. He's going to wrestle it out, and then when that's said, basically Angle is going to say that he's going to walk away and he's going to be done. What I don't understand about this story, and what I heard from listening to Dave on the podcast, and what I've heard, and what I've gathered from reading things online, is I don't understand why Angle wouldn't have signed the full-time contract. Just because you sign the contract doesn't mean that they're going to put you out on all of these shows. Once you get your foot into the door into WWE, it's not like you have to politic and stomp your feet and say that you don't want to wrestle these house shows. But I'm basically saying that WWE isn't going to make Kurt Angle wrestle if he does get hurt. Why wouldn't he go out there and wrestle as much as he could? And basically then once he gets to a point where he thinks he's getting a little bit banged up, that's when he tells them like, hey, I need a little bit of time, let's stretch this out, let's get there. I think that Kurt Angle's at the point of his career where he's able to ask that, and WWE would get behind him. If Angle was able to sign this deal in order to get there, that would lead to WWE pushing him with merchandise rights. More than likely they would want to get some sort of a DVD out. Angle's sort of one of those big guys from the Attitude Era that left at the one point. He does have a VHS tape. If you go back in the day, you can find it on Amazon, and you can buy it there, or you can find it on certain wrestling trading sites actually put on a DVD for you. But he doesn't actually have a DVD set. I mean, a Kurt Angle set of him wrestling in WWE is going to be worth gold. Kurt Angle wrestled some of the best matches of his career. So not only would he be making, the money about, that he would make from wrestling on the shows, but there's a huge chunk of money that would be coming on the back end for merchandising rights that would be with Kurt Angle. And then once he, he wrestles this 1 year, they could loop in something on the end where it would be some sort of a Legends deal to where basically he can walk away and go and try and make these movies like he's making right now with Vin Diesel, and try and get into other movies, into Hollywood. And, WWE can keep making DVDs, they can keep making t-shirts and sweatshirts and workout, shakers and whatever they think that would sell with Kurt Angle's name on it. Basically being the USA All-American guy that opens a lot of doors for different t-shirt designs and everything else. I think that Angle would be a great fit for WWE. It doesn't seem like he wants to be involved in wrestling for the rest of his life. A lot of people have said that maybe he'll wrestle one last big match at WrestleMania, and then he'll go down to Orlando and he'll actually help out with the Performance Center. But, from a lot of other, news reports and things like that, it seems like he wants to get into Hollywood. He made the one movie, Pain and Gain, with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg, where you get to see The Rock beat him up. And he just got done making a movie with Vin Diesel right now, and I can't think of anything else. I remember that one of the reasons why on his last deal he said he really signed with TNA is TNA believed in him, and they invested a lot of money into his production sort of movie deal with a company that he started. That was basically saying that he really felt like Dixie Carter had his back and that she would do anything for him out there in the world. Lots of people out there want to see Angle back in WWE one more time. I'm one of them. I think that Kurt Angle, every time he goes out there, he knows that it's a big show. Even if his leg is broken, I think he would find some way to string himself up for that one more Angle slam and make sure that everybody goes home happy. He's not one of those guys that's not going to give 100% every time he's out there. But that's the story. We're going to have to see where we go from there. Basically, this is all still rumors about what's going down. Maybe Angle is sort of working the fans, so that way when he makes his Royal Rumble big surprise, it will all be surprised and we won't see it coming. Maybe he'll sign with Global Force Wrestling, and then that'll be the big surprise that leads us all to go watch Jeff Jarrett's product. Or maybe it's like what Dave said, is that basically TNA is, feeding him things to say, so that way people will revolve the story. So that way when Angle signs with TNA, it'll be the big come-from-behind story, that, TNA was able to sign one of their big stars and bring them back. So they do have, somebody big to really get them through. They need to have that one big star. And Jeff Hardy once was one of the biggest stars in the company, and I think that TNA has sort of melted him down to a point where he might be the biggest star in TNA, but he might not be the biggest star in the wrestling world these days. So Angle would at least be that sort of legend that everybody knew could have a good match and maybe be worth ordering a pay-per-view, maybe going to see a house show, and paying money to see a TV taping. And knowing that you'd be able to see something like that. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen from Kurt Angle's last year in wrestling. I'm hoping it's with WWE, so it means something, but you never know. It could be anything else in the world.